One of the most common pieces of advice that young writers get from more experienced older writers is that the best thing you can do to improve your craft is read. My name is Seth. I'm a full-time fantasy author. I've written like 25 books. Most of them are published. And I make these videos because there are a lot of writers out there who aren't making it, and I don't want you to be one of them. We hear this advice over and over and over again. If you want to be a good writer, make sure you're reading. If you want to know how to write something, make sure you're reading those sorts of things. And this isn't just intellectually true. This is experientially true. If you read a lot of books in a particular genre, you'll start to get a sense for them. When you pick them up and you start reading, you're quickly going to be able to tell if it's going to hold your attention or if it's going to be a total bore. The more you read in a particular genre, the more discerning your tastes typically will become. What I want to talk about is the difference between reading as a reader and reading as a writer. And these are two different things. And there's actually a third category that we're not really going to talk about today, which is reading as an editor. I'll save that for another video. Maybe I'll have one of my editor friends come on and talk to you about how that works. But for now, we're just going to deal with these two main categories of reading as a reader and reading as an author, because they are different. And the reason they're different is because their goals are different. As a reader, when you pick up a book, you're looking to get something from it. You're looking to get enjoyment or an emotional experience. You're looking to connect with characters. You're looking to engage with an exciting plot. You're looking for suspense or for the warm, cuddly feeling of cozy. At the end of the day, your goal is to be entertained. Your goal is to enjoy what you're doing, to spend some time in a different world. As an author, that's not why you read. You read for an entirely different reason. You read for a mechanical understanding of how the story is fitting together. You read to understand the pacing, the beats of the plot. You read to understand how the author is engaging your heartstrings or engaging the heartstrings of a reader through the experiences of their character. You're reading to understand how to put together a scene or how to describe something in a way that is vivid and engaging, but doesn't leave the reader yawning. In short, you read to understand the craft of putting the story together, not to experience the story for yourself. These are two very different ways of reading, and the reality is that it can be very hard once you become an author to read in the first way, because your mind is so engaged with how stories work that naturally you can fall into reading as an author. This can be frustrating sometimes, and often I find myself frustrated. I'll pick up a book fully intending to enjoy it, and then I'll start seeing things that maybe I would have done a little bit differently, or seeing choices that I don't really agree with, and it'll become harder to enjoy the story. Now, on the other hand, sometimes I'll pick up a book fully intending to just read it, and I'll start to understand how the story is put together. And if it's really clever, that's almost more enjoyable to me than a good plot. This also causes a problem. Because I can't just pick up a book and enjoy it as a reader in exactly the same way that I used to, I find myself often hesitant to read, which is really weird because I am the kind of person who would love to just bury myself in a book and literally never come up for air. I will spend all day reading, all day, literally all day. Every moment of the day, I will spend reading. And if I could live there in that space, that would be like literally my happy place. But I can't. I have to write. And I know that once I start reading a book, I'm going to start examining it from a writer's perspective. And that honestly just takes a lot of mental energy and effort. And it's not as easy to relax while I'm doing that as it is to like play a video game or something. So often I'll just default to playing video games. But the result of that is that I've noticed a gap in my craft, specifically when it comes to romance and cozy. I don't know if I've announced this or not, but next year I'm going to be trying to write some cozy romance, fantasy adventure. It'll be fun. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be great. I have a fantastic storyline. I'm really excited for it, and I think you'll enjoy it too. But it's also outside my wheelhouse. And so as I was sitting down, starting to think about this project and think about how do I do that, I realized that what I need to be doing is I need to be reading examples of the kinds of books that I'm going to be writing. And so thanks to some recommendations from some friends, I have some books that I'm going to be reading. So today I want to highlight 3 of them. These are the first 3 books that I'm going to be reading. On the front, we have Book Lovers. This is like a rom-com. And because I'm going to be writing romance, this was recommended to me, and I'm going to give it a try. I've never read a book like this. It's sort of a beach read, and I'm really sort of curious to see how I feel about it. But I'm going to be reading this one and trying to dissect it, because again, the point of this is not just to read for fun, it's to read to understand so that I can improve my craft. The second book is called The House Witch, and this is cozy fantasy. And because this project I'm going to be working on is cozy fantasy, this was recommended as a good example of what to aim for. And then the final book is A Man Called Ove, which is considered one of the sort of cozy classics. It's a well-known book, and it's very heartwarming. And so I'm going to be giving the 3 of them a read over the next week or 2 and trying to understand the mechanics of how their stories work. I'll probably post some videos doing a sort of author reads review of each one, not a review of the story, but sort of an analysis for mostly my own benefit of the way the author puts the story together. So if you're interested, definitely follow along. But I also have a question for you and a request for you. Do you have any books that are absolutely fantastic examples of a particular kind of storytelling or a particular kind of genre? If you do, I would love to read them. Like I said, I'm trying to fill in the gaps in my craft, and reading more books is the best way to do that. So let me know in the comments down below if you have a book recommendation that you think I should read.